Might be. Alright, sweet. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright. Quick reset. Just continue. Well, too late. Too late for that. Okay, so yeah. I was talking about the classes. The difference between the classes, they have different weapons. That's the biggest difference, I guess. They have different movement speeds, and they use items differently. So, in this game, unlike Doom, you actually have an inventory that you can scroll through down at the bottom. Right now, all I have are healing potions. And, certain items, different classes use differently. So, later there's a bomb that you pick up, and they'll use it differently. The fighter's bombs are like grenades, so he'll just throw them and they'll explode on the enemy, like on impact. So yeah, in this first hub area, I have to go up here and hit this bell. Whoa, I'm stuck. And hitting that bell makes it so that I can leave the hub. It opens this teleporter, so I can peace out.
Greetings, mortal. Are you ready to die?
Yep. Okay, so this is the second hub. It's called 7 Portals. So yeah, there I'm using the flechettes. You can see that they take care of the enemies pretty easily. And right here I'm picking up blue mana. That'll be used for the weapons in the game. It's basically ammo. There's only, each class only has 4 weapons in this game. Here's the first fighter one, Timon's Axe. It's probably the most overpowered weapon. Well, it's one of the most overpowered weapons in the game, for sure. Right here I'm just waiting for the crushers to tell me which one I can go through to teleport out. So I have to go in here. This game is really puzzly. So this place is supposed to be like a big old puzzle, and you're supposed to like find all these switches. But we're only going to find a couple of them, because you don't actually need to find all of them to get through this area. So I'm going to go down here and hit this switch. This is one of the few that you need. And I'll say 1/3 of the puzzle has been solved on the 7 portals. So now that I've done that, I can just leave. And get out of here. And go to the next portal. So that's kind of how this hub goes. They're all different levels. This is one of the first few hub-based games, and that means that you can go back to previous maps and they'll stay the same. Like, all the items that you picked up will be gone still, enemies will still be dead, stuff like that. Which is pretty cool. It's right there, you have to kill all these serpents to lower the doors into this area. Wendigos are these ice guys, they're really annoying, they do a lot of damage. Luckily there's not that many in the game. Okay. So, it's kind of a nice area. It's pretty cool. Get it? Okay, so we're gonna hit some triggers. You would think that you'd have to go in these rooms and press certain switches, but right there I just hit a trigger that is important. And for this area, all I have to do is stand on that thing, and that hits a certain trigger that I need to exit out of this area. So now that I've hit all these triggers, these stairs are going to rise up. And I want to make sure they're clear. And I'm going to use these stairs to jump over to these other switches. And you're not supposed to do it this way. This is kind of a really big skip. So there's the first one. And here's the second one. And then the third one's at the top. So that skips quite a bit. And I picked up dragon skin bracers. Those just give you a little bit of armor. So now that I did that, I can kill these centaurs and get out of here. and I just picked up a segment of Quietus right there, which is one of my pieces of my ultimate weapon.
My servants can smell your blood.
Okay, so this is the biggest hub section in the game. It's the dank meme wood, dark wood forest, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, it's really confusing. To open that door right there, that leads to the end over there. You have to hit a bunch of different switches, just like last hub. But the switches are all locked by certain keys. And it's just really confusing. The maps are complicated and big. So we're gonna get lost a lot, because I've never played this game. So I have to kill all these brown serpents. Oh, I missed. Grab the cave key right there. Cave key right there. And kill some more. Grab a chaos device. And the chaos device lets me teleport back to the beginning of the map, like whatever map I started. So that's a useful item for speedrunning. So now that I got the cave key, I can go to the next area. Which is down here. And enemies will kind of bunch up in certain areas, you know, as you're in the other map, the enemies will bunch up, which can be really annoying. So you have to hit that switch to open this. And let me just go in here. So here's another hub. This is where I can use my cave key. But first I need to get another key in this area. So we're gonna go over here and try not to fall into the lava, because that would definitely hurt. And just jump over those guys. Don't need to mess with them. So we got the horn key. Now we can use the cave key to open this area and hit our first important switch that we need to hit to get to the end of this section. I need to kill these guys. Ah, that guy's too high. Wow, dude. Come down here. This is kind of the downfall of being a warrior. Okay. So you kill those guys and then this opens up. And now I'm going to use the chaos device, teleport back to the beginning, and then go to the next area. I'm going to grab my second weapon, right? Or my third weapon, I guess. The Hammer of Retribution. It's a ranged weapon. It uses green mana instead of blue mana. And it's not super good. It's okay. But axe is still better. And we're still going to use that more. Swamp monsters. Okay, so here's another new hub. Wow, these guys are blocking me. You can't really tell when they're blocking you because they'll be underwater and still block you. So right here I'm picking up discs of repulsion. That's a really useful item. They just push back all the enemies around you, which is super useful, especially as the other characters, because the other characters don't have as much of a option for knocking the enemies back as the warrior does. Because the warrior, you can just hit them with your axe and they'll get knocked back and you can just move around them. The other classes don't have that ability. Okay. So we're gonna go up here first, because you can do a cool little jump right here. And I messed it up. Through the window, press the switch, grab an icon over the fender, and the switch opens up this area down here. And now we're going into RNG hell. This room is like pure RNG. First of all, the enemies can get stuck like that. But once that's done, once I grab the key, there's 3 tunnels that pop up, and they have fireballs and stuff. That was good RNG. And it's random which one you have to go down. And sometimes you'll go down the right one, and it will still send you back for some reason. Getting it second try like that is pretty good. So there's another switch. Now we're back here. You recognize this area. But this time I'm gonna jump across here, and now that I have a swamp key, I can do another section of this hub. But first I have to kill a bunch of centaurs to open this new section. Ow. So yeah, when you hit the centaurs, they'll put up their shield and reflect whatever you shoot back at you. So you have to be careful not to throw a hammer when their shield is up like that. Okay, so you have to kill a certain amount of them for this to go down. And then we can use our swamp key on this door. Right there, I used a disc of repulsion to push back the enemy. Oh. Right here I'm grabbing a Crater of Might. That completely refills your mana. So that's a really useful item. There's another switch behind that teleporter. And we're back in the castle. I'm gonna use the cave key to open this door. Since we already did the horn key section of this hub. Now we can do the cave key section. And we do this one later because there's a teleporter that takes you to a different area at the end of this. So it's just a little bit more optimal to do this one last. And then we can go back down here, back in the caves, where we got the cave key. And now we can use the swamp key in here. So you use all sorts of keys all over the place. And when you're playing this casually, it's difficult to remember like where the doors are, and you just get lost so easily. I get lost in the speedrun all the time. Because it's just confusing. The maps look very similar sometimes. Use the horn key on this one, and that's our last switch. So now we can just go in this one, and grab a bunch of stuff, and head straight to the end of the hub. Back through here. So here's the door, and now it's open. Now we can go in here. This is kind of a trial area. So each of these rooms, it's also very random. So a room is randomly selected, and then you have to go in and solve the puzzle in the room. So that was the first room. And here's the second room. This is the... okay, this is the cleric room. And we call it the cleric room because this is where the cleric would get another one of his pieces of his final weapon. So luckily, a centaur came out of this room, and luckily it was a centaur that I had to kill for the thing to go down. Because there's one specific centaur that you have to kill in there for that area to go down. Okay, so this is the fighter room. There's a bunch of serpents. You have to hit the switch, and then I can grab the next piece of Quietus. And the only one left is the mage one, right here, which is possibly the most annoying. Because that jump right there at the end is, like, deceivingly difficult. Luckily I got it pretty quickly. Okay, so now that we did all the rooms, we can go fight the boss of this section. Who's over here. And that was him waking up. And he's a death wyvern, so he's gonna fly around. Luckily there's wings over here, so I'm just gonna put on the wings and beat him to death with my axe, and then fly away. So that was the boss. Pretty easy. Sometimes he can kill himself if he flies too low into the lava, and that's awesome.
Worship me, and I may yet be merciful. Then again, maybe not.
so he's kind of a troll. I was totally gonna worship him, but then he said that. Oh wow, they're infighting. What's up with that? Oh. So you have to kill a certain amount of those for this door to open. Okay, so this is a fun hub. You can skip a lot of it. And we're going to, at the end. But first you have to press these switches on each side of the map. So we're going to do that. And they're hidden in these glass windows. Okay, so now we've done that, we can go over here. Ignore all the enemies. Break a tree. Press the switch behind it. And we're going to get our final piece of our weapon, Quietus, which is a sword. And it's not bad. It's probably the worst of the final weapons from you know, all the different classes, but it's not horrible. And your final weapon uses both blue and green mana, so that's the catch, I guess. I'm gonna use it right here. So it kind of shoots like a spread of green bullshit, which is cool. So now I'm gonna attempt to do a glide, which is a Doom trick. Oh, I got it. And I changed my HUD so that I can line it up properly. And what you do in this game to do a glide is you just line it up and then you jump into the corner at the right angle. And then you just slip through. But yeah, the reason that's possible is because the warrior is 32 pixels wide and the gap is 32 pixels wide. So if you line it up perfectly, you can just slip through. Right here I'm waiting. Oh, I actually had one. Waiting for swamp monsters to appear so that I can jump on their heads. Unfortunately, I messed it up. They were there. They wanted me to jump on their head, and then I just didn't. Okay. Let's do it right this time? Okay. So yeah. That skips pressing a couple switches. Unfortunately, me dying like that was probably slower than doing it normally, but whatever. So, the Castle of Grief, you can actually skip this entire section on an earlier version of the game, but since I'm not playing that version, I can't do that. We have to go through these maps, which are pretty fun, so I'm not super bummed about having to do it. So there's the super weapon in action. Kills everything, usually. Quietus is kind of weird, sometimes it just doesn't kill anything, which is why it's crappy compared to the other super weapons. It's right here, kind of on a timer, so I just have to kill as many centaurs as I can, because they're really annoying. And I'm going to try to prevent one from spawning, which is what I did. And now I have to hit 4 switches. This game's all about pressing buttons. Just like every game from the 90s. Okay, so we hit all the buttons. I'm gonna get some extra mana. And this door is gonna go down. It takes a little while though. Okay, so there's a book in there, and we got it, and I died. That's unfortunate. Okay. God. Need to get out of there. Oh. These guys were really trying to kill me. They definitely are. Okay, so now I have to hit a bunch of switches. Again. Get some more discs. That's nice. Another crater. Here's a cool trick. I'm jumping on top of this Afrit, and then he kind of brings me up to the top. He just flies up, and it's actually really good RNG to get it first try like that, because the enemy is random, obviously. So you can just decide not to bring you up. He can just fly away. And luckily he didn't. So he's a homie. Usually to get up here you take an elevator, but I just decided to fly on a demon's back. Okay, so now that I press all the buttons, I can start collecting these gear pieces, which I need to open up the end of this section. Get that. And here's the last one. And you can actually use the discs of repulsion to push the fireballs away, the trapped fireballs. And you put the gears into their slots. And the platform is lowered. So now we can get out of here. Okay, so I pressed a button, like that was way above me, because it's kind of like, you know, in Doom you can do that. Because it's not actually 3D, it's like 2.5D, so you can kind of press buttons when they're above or below you. So right there I put the books into place and I got a skull. And I'm going to put the skull on the statue. And that opens up this next area. And the water down here, if I can get through it. Okay. So now we're in this like sewer area. As you can imagine, there's a lot of those sewer monster guys. Get the dungeon key, and we can get out of here. That's all we really need right now. Okay, so we got that. We go in this next bookshelf. I have to kill all of these guys for a door to open later on, so I'll just get rid of him. Grab this, it's a trap, so you have to jump over. Okay, so I'm gonna jump on some more enemies' heads right here. Just skip a section. Jump on this guy, and then you can jump up here. I'll just wait for that guy to move into the other room. Oh yeah, that's true, Smarmadon. Okay. So I'm going to use my super weapon to kill these guys. And what that does is it makes it so I can press the switch and get out of here. And then you fall. And you don't die, luckily. It teleports you out. At least if you're not playing co-op. For some reason, people die in co-op all the time because, probably because of lag. But yeah, you're supposed to just teleport once you hit the bottom. So I can do this next area. We just go over there, hit a trigger, and then leave. Jump up there. Okay, so now we're getting close to the end of this section. I have to get one last key right here. Axe key. I'm gonna grab some health. And usually that's a trap, you know, you'd get crushed if you try to grab the health, but you can stand right in the middle and not get crushed. Okay, so this is kind of the boss room. First you have to kill a bunch of stuff. So I have to get rid of all these afrits first. And then I'm going to stand right here to spawn prevent one of the serpents, and that'll open up these next areas. And then I'll just murder these guys. Okay, and that opens up the boss, the Heresy Arch, and he's really annoying. Luckily I got the quick kill on him, and what that means is I used an Icon of Defender, which is why I was invincible right there.
Are you strong enough?
And he has a spell that makes him invincible, so I have to kill him before he uses that spell. So I have to use a bunch of flechettes and my super weapon like as fast as possible, and make sure a lot of them hit so that he'll die, you know, before he can become invincible. So luckily I got it first try. And I think it's probably hardest as the fighter, so it was cool that I got that. The cleric has a really easy time with it because his flechettes are like gas bombs, and he can just trap enemies using that. So that's nice. So in this hub, like you said, you have to like face your masters or whatever. You have to fight each class that you're able to select at the beginning of the game. So this first section is the cleric. So I'm gonna kill the cleric right here. He's probably the hardest. So here he is. I'm gonna try to get him. There we go, I got him. So I get his thing, and then I use a chaos device to teleport back. So each old master, or whatever you want to call him, has a key that you need to get to the end. So yeah, this new section has a new enemy, the Reaver. These guys, they kind of just pop out of the ground and shoot fireballs. They're really annoying. So this is the mage section, and it's really random. You have to press all these switches, and it's random which one opens the door. And for me, it was the last one, so that was bad. So this is kind of a puzzle area. You have to press each of the buttons, and they correspond to like the shape of the room. So this one, there's a dot in the middle, so you have to hit the switch with the dot in the middle. And then right here, you just look at the middle, and this one's a cross, so you have to hit the cross. So it's pretty simple puzzle stuff. All the puzzles in this game are relatively simple. So you just get through that section, and now we can fight the mage. He got wrecked. Okay. So now we've got the mage, we can go straight to the fighter area, where the developers decided to place the most annoying enemies in the game. Place about 1 billion of them. The centaurs are incredibly annoying. Okay, so first you have to press the switch. I'm going to be using a lot of repulsion discs, because these guys are so annoying. And I don't care about killing them. That's a porculator. It turns enemies into pigs, which I'm going to save for the end. Oh, I got triple circle. That's probably the best RNG you can get. So right here, this is a puzzle that we named preschool puzzle, even though it's actually preschool. I mean, it's just shapes, so you have to match the shapes, and that's the puzzle. So yeah. Luckily, it actually worked first try. This puzzle likes to not work. Oh yeah, I'm trying to use a what's that called? It's like a chaos device, except you shoot it at an enemy, and it teleports them to the start of the map. And for some reason, that counts as killing them. So you just shoot the fighter with that thing, and then it'll be like, oh, you killed him, and then you grab the key, but you actually didn't kill him. You just teleported back to the start. He's perfectly safe. No fighters were harmed in this speedrun, except for me. So right here, I'm just using the repulsion discs to get him stuck in the door. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Okay, so now I'm gonna try to find my boots. Where are they? There they are. Those make me go really fast. They're useful. So here's the boss, and he just killed me. I'm gonna fight him again. Okay, ow. I'm gonna try to... So once you do enough damage, he teleports away and sends a bunch of enemies after you. So I'm just gonna kill as many of them as fast as I can. Okay, so here's the centaurs. They're obviously annoying as hell, because they put up their shield after you hit them once. Okay, that was good. So use the porculator. I'm gonna jump on their heads, and throw some flechettes down on them. There we go. Okay, so I'm using my Creators of Might also, because I saved up so many of them. Okay, coming up on time. Time. So you kill the boss, and then you go in the teleporter, and that's the end. The boss is kind of really easy if you have invincibility going. So yeah.